Stablecoins sound boring, but they're actually the backbone of DeFi. The decentralized stablecoins we know today, like Tether, Pax, and DAI, are under attack by centralized stablecoins and the soon-to-arrive Central Bank Digital Currencies. Doesn't sound like a big deal, right? Wrong. Centralized stablecoins are the Trojan horse for governments to make programmable money, subverting crypto to turn it into their own centralized, discriminatory, freedomless society. Stakes are high, and you need to know what's happening behind the scenes. Let's get it. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in crypto. If you like money and crypto, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at fiat-backed stablecoins and the coming push for central bank digital currencies. One of the main reasons that regulators have been cracking down on crypto so hard recently is because banks and governments are finally starting to realize that blockchain technology is the future. So now they're going to do everything they can to try and control it. Crypto was founded with the intention of disrupting traditional institutions. This technology was designed to resist nation-state level threats. But the stakes are high, and the people who benefit from the legacy system are not going down without a fight. At this point, they understand that they can't stop this technology entirely. So they are going to try to remove the parts they don't like, while heavily promoting and adopting the parts they can use to their advantage. They will focus on the fact that this technology is digital and that blockchain technology makes things more efficient, but they will ignore or attack the most important features that make crypto what it is: decentralization, privacy, and being permissionless. This is where the distinction between a cryptocurrency and a digital currency becomes extremely important. A cryptocurrency or crypto asset is built with these disruptive values in mind, while digital assets just represent an upgraded version of the old system. This is why it makes perfect sense that our friends in the old financial cartel have decided to call themselves the digital currency group and not the cryptocurrency group. They want to make you think digital assets are safer and more efficient without the crypto features, because they are easier to regulate and easier to scale when they are centralized. The Fed has already started to push this narrative. A few months back, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell suggested that a central bank digital currency would eliminate the need for cryptocurrencies and stablecoins. The Bank for International Settlements, or BIS, which is essentially the central bank of central banks, has issued numerous reports over the past year, stating their support for central bank digital currencies and repeating the same old FUD about crypto assets. Last week, they issued a new report making recommendations on how governments should regulate stablecoins, which focused mostly on ensuring that stablecoin issuers had adequate reserves to back up their distribution. Right now, it seems that China has had a head start in the CBDC race, with the US and other countries rushing to catch up. Many industry insiders believe that the US government and central bank could decide to take over a private stablecoin like USDC instead of starting from scratch and building their own. The Wall Street Journal recently reported that the Biden administration is planning to ask Congress to impose measures that would regulate stablecoin issuers like banks. If this were to happen, crypto companies that already have existing relationships with banks and regulators will be best positioned to take advantage of this opportunity, and they will have a clear path to success because most of their competitors will be regulated out of existence. This type of measure was also suggested by Cynthia Laser Eyes Lummis, who is usually seen as one of the industry's biggest advocates in Washington. What we're beginning to see is politicians and regulators slowly accepting Bitcoin as a sort of commodity like gold, while shifting their attacks onto DeFi and stablecoins, which are more difficult for them to control and represent more of a threat to the legacy system. Be part of the crypto legacy that will stand the test of time and never lose value, the BitSquad. To do that, just smash that like and subscribe button. But there are some teams in crypto that are willing to play ball with the establishment, though. And most of them are connected, to no surprise, the digital currency group. Companies like Ripple, Coinbase, and USDC Circle have been asking for regulation for years, and they've been working to build those relationships so they are first in line to be compliant when those regulations are laid down. When Circle began making filings go public, the company admitted that it was currently under investigation by the SEC, but said that they were cooperating with regulators. As we're seeing with both Ripple and Coinbase and their interactions with the SEC, These investigations will likely result in these companies getting the green light to operate on a mainstream level. How ironic. Executives from Circle have been publicly expressing their support for putting banking regulations on stablecoins. Dante Disparte, Circle's chief strategy officer and head of global policy, told the Wall Street Journal that Circle wants to become a bank and that it would welcome new regulations. This is because they're already set up for it, and they've been preparing for it for years already. With all of this collusion happening behind the scenes, centralized unregulated stablecoins could be a risky place to put your money for the long term. And by that I mean more than 10 years. If you're wanting to long-term hold crypto, then USDC is probably your best bet till better solutions arrive. But they are on their way. Our reliance on fiat-backed stablecoins in the crypto markets keeps us tied to the traditional system and the monetary policies that we were trying to escape from in the first place. It also gives regulators an excuse to start taking away your freedoms. Stable assets are a necessary component for DeFi and the crypto ecosystem, but they don't need to be tied to fiat currencies. Plans to push out DeFi and make it too onerous to use isn't just to protect fiat currencies. Governments see this as a way to exert more control over their subjects. I mean, citizens. CBDCs will be programmable money in the worst sense. Bitcoin and crypto is often confused with a cashless society, one where the government knows and sees all transactions, no matter how minute. But it's the opposite. Crypto is freedom. The incoming CBDC, or FedCoin, is the cashless society that everyone fears. FedCoin will be programmable in almost limitless ways. Your FedCoin money can have an expiration date built in. FedCoins can be programmed to only work in certain approved businesses. Taxes, fines, and fees can be deducted immediately from any citizen account. Take first, sort out the details later. That's their plan. FedCoins can also be tied to a social credit system and interest rates, criminal record, and use of unapproved speech or whatever the government considers disinformation at that time, which can impact your finances. Tracking credit cards is one thing. CBDCs are the all-seeing eye of the ruling class, monitoring everything. Zero privacy. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are a ton of projects in development that are working on different solutions. But this is a very new area of innovation, and we haven't really seen many stablecoins in the top 100 that aren't pegged to fiat currency. That could be changing very soon, though. Last week, Cardano announced the development of a gold-backed stablecoin. Since gold is an asset that is relatively stable compared to crypto, not directly under the control of central banks like fiat currencies. There are also algorithmic stablecoins like Rye, a fork of Maker's DAI that is backed only by Ethereum and pegged to itself. Rye launched with a starting price of $3.14, or 3.14 in honor of Pi, for all you nerds out there. Rye eventually found an equilibrium at around $3, where it is currently trading. It does a pretty good job at maintaining stability, but it is still highly experimental. It's just one of the many solutions that developers are currently working on as alternatives to fiat-backed stablecoins. This is actually a top priority for developers in the industry. Many teams are working to find a solution because they all know how important stablecoins are for DeFi, and they recognize that being tied to fiat is just too dangerous to freedom and true equality. But that's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.